What are the false methods that evolutionists use to deceive people?
Well, actually, they use deceptive techniques to deceive people into believing that evolution is true. First of all, we had mentioned in a previous Twilight Zone that I did with you about the millions and billions of supposed years. They say, well, this is 100 million, this is 5 billion, and so on. But I said, first of all, that's their opinion. It's according to their religion. It's not according to science. And so what happens is they'll say things like this. This is one of the false teachings. They'll say, well, it just looks old, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I can take a 20-year-old actress and make her look like an 80-year-old woman, too. But does that make her 80 years old?
Nope.
No. So appearance does not indicate age, to start with. And so when they say, well, it just looks old, doesn't it? Well, no, it doesn't. It just looks like whatever it looks like. And then they use deceptive methods. And I think the best example here is, say, teaching the false concept that people evolved from apes. Now, according to evolutionists, actually, they evolved from a kind of ape called an Australopithecine. But many evolutionists or many people think that it's from chimpanzees. Charles Darwin, in Origin of the Species, actually said monkeys.
Okay.
He didn't say apes, he said monkeys. There are evolutionists who say that's not true, but you can read it. I have, and his originally, he said monkeys. So how do they do that? We've seen this iconic presentation of a little ape, little monkey or something like that, becoming a bigger ape, becoming a bigger ape, becoming bigger, and standing straighter and straighter up.
Yes, that's right.
And finally you get to a human being, right?
Yep.
And of course you've seen all kinds of wonderful comedic memes that they generated from that and so on. But you've seen this presentation, the little to the bigger, to the bigger, to the bigger.
Yep.
Finally you get to, there you go on the screen right there. Now, this is called white magic. It's not black magic. It's stage magic.
Okay.
This is illusion, to deceive people into believing that what you see is a proof of evolution from apes to people. Now, this is called the proof by ranking, R-A-N-K-I-N-G.
Okay.
So what is the proof by ranking? The proof by ranking is that we are able to arrange objects by size and shape. So to arrange things by size and shape in a linear line is a proof by ranking. Now, in this deceptive illustration you hear, that illustration and the ones like it have been around since the 1960s, early 1960s. They've used the same basic thing to deceive people for decades. And what they do is they line up these apes and people in what looks like, a logical, reasonable way. And when you look at this, there is a certain logic, there's a certain reasonable to it when you see it. However, that doesn't make it true.
Yeah.
And it isn't black magic, it's stage magic, it's illusion. So when you see something like that, let me give you another illustration. Let's say I had a room of 100 people. Now, obviously, they're going to be different.
Yes.
They're not all identical.
That's right.
And so what if I were to take the 100 people and line them up by their height only, as you kind of see there. So I take the shortest person, put them here, and then in a line, taller, 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 down on my end where the taller ones are. But once I have put everybody in the room in a sequence, a logical, linear type of a sequence called ranking, by your height only, what are the only two things that I would have proven scientifically? I would have proven that people come in different heights and that I have the intelligence to do this. That's the only two things I would have proven. Now, let's say I take the exact same 100 people. I'm not changing anybody here.
Yeah.
But now I rank them. I put them in a logical order or sequence, not by their height. But this time I change the criteria. And I say, okay, I'm going to do it by the month and day of their birth, not the year. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what your gender is. I don't care how tall you are. I don't care how wide you are. All I want to know is what is the month and the day of the month you were born. And then I put you in a line. And I start with the 1st of January, and I end up with the 31st of December, and I put everybody in a line. Yeah. Now, in a room of 100 people, at least 2 of them would have the same birthday. It's a matter of consequence. But what I have actually proven scientifically, I would prove that people are born on different days of the year.
Yeah.
and that I have the intelligence to line them up based on a certain criteria. But let me ask you, in lining them by their height or lining them up by their birthday, month, and date only, again, this has nothing to do with age, but did I prove anything about their heritage?
No.
Did I prove that any of them are married to each other?
No.
Did I prove that there are any fathers and sons?
No.
Mothers and mothers and daughters?
No.
Aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, or cousins?
Oh.
No. This is a totally invalid method of proof. It proves absolutely nothing. And again, you've seen special effects movies.
Yeah.
Now today we're not talking about 1936 claymation, right? We're talking about some seriously complex, very sophisticated computer programs,
That's
right?
right.
And on screen, you have seen one person become a different person. You've seen a person become an animal, or an animal become a person. On the screen, it looks real because the computer-generated animations these days are so good. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Now, you know it's fiction when you see it, mutant movies or whatever, and you know it's fiction, but it's so good you can buy into it for the purposes of the story because the animation is so good.
Yeah.
Now, when evolutionists show you those monkeys lined up, small to large to people, right? Notice the gaps in between. And so the evolutionist says, you see how evolution happened, and they show you this. And the answer is, yes, I do see it if I fill in the blanks in between with my own imagination. If I make a special effects movie in my head, and I fill in the blanks with my own imagination, then yes, I can see it. But what is the truth? You can't fill in the blanks with your own imagination.
That's right.
And therefore, no, I don't see evolution. What I see is 5 objects lined up by size and shape, but that proves nothing that one came from the other.
Wow.
It's a totally and utterly false concept of how to prove something. It's deception. It's stage magic. It is illusion. I have a proposition for you. If you were to give me one skull each of 1,000 different animals, now there's roughly 10,000 major animal kinds, but if you just 1,000, if you gave me the head of a shrew, the skull of a shrew, a rat, a cat, a dog, a horse, a cow, and you gave me 1,000, one each of 1,000 different real animals, okay? I will pick and choose the skulls and line them up in an order to prove you apes did not evolve from people. What really happened was apes evolved into elephants. Or I could pick and choose different skulls, and I could line them up in an order and prove to you that apes did not evolve into people. What really happened was apes evolved into giraffes. You see, if you fill in the blanks with your own imagination, and I pick skulls that I could line up to kind of generate that lineage, you fill in the blanks with your own imagination, then you would agree with me.
That's right. Wow.
And so they use false methods of proof, which are really deception.